as every year the world is looking forward to the most important sports event of the year, the 2022 Super Bowl between the Los Angeles Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals. The finale of the NFL will not only feature a top-class halftime show by Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar and Dr. Dre, but also all kinds of new trailers for upcoming movies and series. At last year's Super Bowl, movie fans were rather disappointed as theaters were still closed in many major locations like Los Angeles and New York City. This year, things are also unusually quiet as far as rumors from the major studios are concerned. However, that doesn't mean that we cannot expect any surprises. For one thing, there's Universal, which is traditionally one of the more active studios at the Super Bowl. Just think about the Miami appearance back then when the Fast and Furious 9 trailer was phenomenally supported by performances from various artists involved in the film. This year, we expect to see new material on Jurassic World Dominion and Minions: The Rise of Gru, as both will be released at the beginning of June and July. Also conceivable would be a first look at Jordan Peele's latest horror flick Nope, due for release a bit later in July. Paramount will likewise take the opportunity to show off some new footage. In the first place, there should be a second trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which is set for release at the beginning of April. A third trailer for Top Gun Maverick would not be a bad idea either, since the film is scheduled for release at the end of May after countless delays. The plans for streaming giants Netflix and Amazon are significantly less clear. The US media is relatively certain that Netflix will show the trailer for The Adam Project starring Zoe Saldana and Ryan Reynolds, while Amazon will promote its broadcast rights to the popular sports show Thursday Night Football. Last but not least, there's Disney. It stands to reason that we will get to see trailers for Moon Knight, Doctor Strange 2, and Lightyear. And by the way, our colleagues from Warner Brothers, Apple, and Sony are expected to traditionally remain on the sidelines again. What are your expectations for the Super Bowl? Which trailers should not be missing in your opinion, and are you expecting to see the one or other surprise? Feel free to write us in the comments. Shooting for the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has been ongoing since the end of last year, and piece by piece, new information is also coming to light. In Deadline's Hero Nation podcast, Gunn recently spoke out about the third adventure of Star-Lord and the others, which, as we have known since last year, will also be his last Guardians film. Anyone who had previously hoped that we will then see further parts from another director has now been sadly disappointed. Why, you ask? Well, it's because Gunn confirmed that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will definitely also be the final part of the franchise. He literally said he wanted to stay true to the characters and the story and give audiences the closure they deserve. Likewise, he gave some hints as to what the movie will be like. Accordingly, it will be huge, of course, but above all, it will be gloomy and a little different from what some fans might expect. This is certainly associated with the death of one or more characters, which is in line with an earlier interview with Nebula actress Karen Gillan. In said interview with Yahoo Movies, she claimed she actually had to cry while reading through the script. On May 5th, 2023, we will know more because that's when Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is scheduled to be released in theaters. One topic in particular dominated the film world at the end of last week, and that was the casting of Jason Momoa for the upcoming Fast and Furious 10. While nothing is known about the plot of the penultimate Fast and Furious installment, there are at least a few theories as to what role Aquaman star Momoa might take on. The most persistent rumor is that Momoa will be playing the bad guy. Well, at least that's what Deadline claims, but they also admit to simply not having enough information on the script at this point. The second option would be casting him as a protagonist alongside Vin Diesel, thus a role similar to the one Dwayne Johnson held as Luke Hobbs. Well, we would not like to comment on which version is more likely at this time. Either way, one person should be particularly pleased, and that is Dwayne Johnson. After all, following his dispute with Vin Diesel, he was literally pleaded to return to the franchise and bring it to a nice, harmonious end. Momoa, at least in contrast to the often controversial Vin Diesel, is considered a fan favorite and is likely not only to balloon the production budget with his feet, but he may also be the antithesis of Dom Toretto, who has been repeatedly called for since Luke Hobbs split. Fast and Furious 10 is set for release on May 19th, 2023. The Loki series on Disney Plus opened up the multiverse, which is so important for Phase 4 of the MCU, and thus it also paved the way for movies like Spider-Man No Way Home or the upcoming Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, barely a year after the release of the first season, the second season is all ready to be shot. As the Portal Backstage reports, filming is scheduled to start as early as this summer, with Pinewood Studios near London being the shooting location. No longer involved will be director Kate Herron, who had already ruled out a new commitment in advance, which probably was due to the very late communication of Season 2. We hope that, at least in front of the camera, familiar faces like Owen Wilson or Gugu Mbatha-Raw will be back. Should they be able to stick to the schedule, we will get to watch the second season on Disney Plus at the beginning of 2023. 2021 seemed to be Ryan Reynolds' big year as the 45-year-old Canadian starred in 3 new movies: Free Guy, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, and, of course, Red Notice. And even though we still have to wait a long time for release of Deadpool 3, another new movie with Reynolds will soon be coming to home theaters. The talk is of The Adam Project, a kind of sci-fi adventure film that revolves around a time-traveling pilot named Adam Reed. His objective is to travel back in time, where he must team up with his 13-year-old self and his deceased father in an attempt to save the future. As director Sean Levy told Vanity Fair, Reynolds is not as lighthearted in this movie as you might remember him from Free Guy. Instead, he is profoundly cynical and scarred by life. This can also be spun in a total of 9 images from the Netflix Twitter account, where he is seen in various scenes alongside his co-stars Mark Ruffalo, Walker Scobell, Zoe Saldana, and Jennifer Garner. While Hulk actor Ruffalo will play Adam's father and Jennifer Garner will play Adam's mother, we are likely to see Zoe Saldana in the role of Reynolds' partner. The antagonist of the film is to be embodied by Get Out actress Catherine Keener. The Adam Project will be released exclusively on Netflix on March 11th, 2022. Foundation is definitely one of the bigger names on the Apple TV Plus streaming service. The science fiction series revolves around a story taking place in the future, where humanity is no longer confined to Earth but scattered across many different planets throughout the galaxy. At the top of the food chain is the so-called Galactic Empire, which governs the various human colonies. The first season mainly centered around 4 characters who try to do their utmost to secure the future of the human species in extremely unstable times. Thus, all must be done to counter the collapse of the galaxy, and for this purpose, the so-called Foundation was established by Dr. Harry Seldon. The cast around Jared Harris, Lee Pace, Lou Lavelle, and Leah Harvey is now growing a lot for Season 2. Let us introduce you to a few new characters. First, there's Dimitri Leonidas playing Hober Mallow. He's a cunning merchant operating according to his very own morals and wants nothing more than to ply his trade. In addition, there's Bel Rios, who's embodied by Ben Daniels. He's the last great general of the Superliminal Fleet, and as a soldier, he's naturally committed mainly to the Galactic Empire, although this trust seems to be dwindling ever more. Isabella Loveland, on the other hand, plays the cheerful cleric brother Constant, who spreads her teachings throughout the Galactic Empire and is a thoroughly convinced believer in her faith. Her counterpart is the cleric Polyverizov, who, besides his drinking problem, is utterly cynical and has a razor-sharp mind. He is portrayed by Kulvinder Gear. There's also Sandra Yeason Sindiver as Anjona Rue, who is an advisor to Crane Sereth, who in turn will be played by Ella Ray Smith. The Queen in particular will make clever use of her role as the underdog, especially since she has a great vendetta planned. Besides the actors just mentioned, Holt McCallany, Michael Persbrandt, Rachel House, and Nimrod Kaur will also be joining the cast. Sadly, it is not yet known when exactly Foundation Season 2 will be released on Apple TV+. We hope you enjoyed our news again this week. Be sure to check out our channel for the movie preview of Predator 5 Prey, and do not miss the new trailer for the Halo series, which is a must-see not only for gaming fans.